Good morning, my name's Tony Wilson. I'm the course tutor for land-based studies and rural skills. I also run a pre-entry course for school kids as a leader for the following academic years, land-based and rural skills courses, based here at Elmwood Campus in Cooper. All of these courses are level 4, which is the equivalent level of Nat 4s. And are based on being a taster session for access to our full-time courses, maybe the following year or the year after that. So what I'll do is I'll go through a quick PowerPoint presentation if Caroline changes from me to the PowerPoint. So I'll start with the pre-entry course. That's open to secondary school pupils from S4, S5 and S6. They have to do an absolute minimum of 8 weeks in order to achieve the course. Over those 8 weeks, there are 8 different tasks, which are all 100% practical, and they're chosen as tasters of different full-time units that they would do if they were here on a full-time course. So just as an example, it could be building footpaths, it could be working with small machinery, like you see in the next slide, or it could be tree planting, environmental studies, any of these things that we've picked up from other courses. They're normally aimed at pupils who've disengaged with classroom-based learning. So as I say, they're 100% practical. The pre-entry course itself, partly here on Elmwood Campus's ground and partly on other areas round about Cooper where we have partnership working. For instance, we have a local woodland near St Andrews that we have access to, and we do tree planting, tree maintenance, footpath work, ditch clearances, survey work of the plants and animals that live there, that sort of thing. So after the basic 8 weeks, the students get a little certificate to say that they've attended it, and they'll get a credit from SQA. It doesn't have to be 8 consecutive weeks. We're aware that school pupils may have other commitments during the length of time that they're with us, or they may have doctor's appointments or whatever. So they can have a week off and then make up by adding a week at the end of the course. So the 8 weeks are covered by a 9-week period, a 10-week period, or whatever. I usually have 2, maybe 3 recruitments over the year for this. So as long as I get at least half a dozen students on each intake, I'll maybe run 3 courses over the year, as I say, aimed at progressing on to the following year as a full-time student. So there's some sort of idea of what they'll be doing. These guys are clearing the access from a footpath onto a new bridge that was put in by a different class. And if you look in the background, you might see that there's some felled trees lying in the background and some branches being pruned. They'll have done some of that work as well. And then whilst we're still on the idea of footpath work, using machinery like this whacker plate to compact new gravel surfaces. I should mention that the student here is wearing personal protective equipment. For the full-time courses, we provide that, and we provide things like the hard hats, ear defenders, and high-vis jackets for anybody. But we only have a limited supply of second-hand steel toe-cap boots for pre-entry students. So if you can provide your own, or if the schools can provide them, that takes the pressure off us having to find second-hand, particularly in the extreme ends of the size scale. We tend not to have anything over size 12 or under size 5 because we don't have much call for those. Okay, so that's the pre-entry course. That would normally lead on to a Certificate of Land-Based Studies, which is a locally devised course that is run here at Elmwood. It's fully accredited by the SQA, and the units that make it up are all individual units from the SQA. So it does give the students the full 18 credits that they would expect from the course. It's, as I said, level 4. and it's made up of units from other courses, which include, for instance, horticulture, animal care, livestock, machinery use, forestry, that kind of thing. We provide personal protective equipment for this course. The course is fully supported by usually 2, sometimes just 1 support staff, and they're there to help any students that have got additional support needs, but also to help with pastoral care and just be my eyes and ears in the class. It's probably fair to say that it's 1 day a week classroom work, some of which will be written, some of which will be more practical in nature, and the rest of the time it will be out and about doing practical stuff. Just to give some ideas of what practical stuff, if I move on to the next slide. We have an allotment that the students use, so they grow their own fruit and veg. You can see some of the carrots and herbs and so forth that they do. They also maintain the infrastructure of the allotment, so the raised beds are all built by them. There's a polytunnel that gets reskinned periodically. There's compost bins that they have to manage and maintain. And again, they'll be using some machinery. The machine in the top right image there is a gator. So we currently do a gator driving course as part of this. This course has 3 core skills embedded in it: communications, numeracy, and information communication technology. Those will be based at whatever level is above the one that the pupil came from school with. So if they came with NAT 4, it would be pitched at level 5. Other units on the course are soft landscaping, estate maintenance, livestock handling, what else have we got in there? Land-based industries and introduction, so investigations of other land-based industries, preparing for work, which is mock interviews, CV writing. We do log sales as part of an enterprise skills unit and so forth. The tractor in the bottom right, they'll have some introduction to that, but it's more the next course up that they would be doing tractor driving, which leads me neatly on to rural skills. So again, level 4, this one's an actual group framework award from the SQA. It has 6 mandatory units, which means that those units all have to be achieved to achieve the course. Those are developing skills for work, enterprise skills, rural estate maintenance, rural work activities, developing skills, mentioned that one already, sorry, rural species and habitats, and rural environment and introduction. So all 6 of those have to be achieved. The same 3 core skills are embedded in the course, and 2 out of the 3 have to be achieved. Again, it will be at the level above whichever level the student already has. So it's that little bit of a step up. Both courses try to simulate the workplace as much as possible. So you will be outdoors doing work-based activities. You'll have to do risk assessments. There will be personal protective equipment provided, but you will also be expected to follow health and safety legislation. All of the above. Again, units from other SRUC courses. So for instance, forestry, constructing rural features, so building things, the estate maintenance and rural work activities units. You'll be doing tasks that would be expected to be carried out on a farm or an estate or something like that. Building fences, footbridges, sheds, that kind of thing. We do a lot of work with local landowners and landowning charities round about. So for instance, the woods at Strathkinnis are owned by Strathkinnis Community Trust, but we also use Locher Meadows, we use Falkland Estate, we use Tentsmuir Forest, and we go and do partnership-based working in these areas. So working with other providers of outdoor facilities and training. And here's a couple of examples of projects that we've done in the past. The footbridge that those students are standing on, they built it up at the woods in Strathkinnis. So it's part of the expansion of the footpath network there. So we would be maintaining features like that, creating new features like that. And in the students in the right-hand side, you can see them clearing in the distance a wind-blown tree over one of the footpaths and using a pruning saw to do high pruning to stop branches falling on people as they go by. So we do maintenance work as part of the forestry units that are embedded within that course. If you want to get in touch with me, those are my contact details, anthony.wilson@sruc.ac.uk, but please call me Tony. And the phone number, which has got an answering machine on it if I'm teaching or after I've left the office, 01334 658849. Now with that, I believe Caroline has some questions for me. Is that true, Caroline?
That is true, thanks Tony.
Okay. Right, I shall get rid of that and go back to camera so you can see me.
That's great. The first question I've had is, are there any volunteering opportunities available while on these courses?
Yes, we do try to encourage our students to get volunteer placements if they can. And in the past, we have done work placements through the course. We're not currently doing that, but we certainly do volunteer placements for Strathkinnis Community Trust. We have had in the past weekend volunteer groups that we take from Elmwood up to the woods in our minibus to do volunteer work, for example. But we've also done volunteering on Falkland Estate and other places as well. So yeah, I would encourage anybody thinking of doing any of our courses to see if they can get volunteer experience. And we've got a list of volunteer providers that we can give people.
That's great, thanks Tony. And the next question is, what courses could I progress onto after rural skills?
Okay, the normal progression route is either into horticulture, gamekeeping or countryside management if you stay at Elmwood on the Elmwood College campus. If you wanted to move to one of our other campuses, Oatridge, for instance, does agriculture-based units. So if you want to be a farmer, we could progress you to a course down there. And the full-time forestry courses run out of our campus at the Barony down in Dumfries. So that's normally the progression route if you stay in Cooper, is horticulture, gamekeeping or countryside management.
That's great, thank you. And finally, somebody's asking for more detail about the clothing and footwear that's provided when they start college.
Okay. Land-based and rural skills, the full-time courses get steel toe cap boots and steel toe cap wellies. Now you must wear them when you are doing any work with us because otherwise you're not insured. We also provide those students with a fleece, a raincoat, rain trousers and work gloves. And again, we expect you to wear them if required. We have got ear defenders, hard hats, high-vis jackets that are provided as needed. What I would say is, if we're working in January or February and it's very cold, don't expect one fleece to keep you warm. You might need to wear some of your own stuff as well to keep warm. The pre-entry course, we don't currently provide PPE for that, but I do have a stock of second-hand steel toe cap boots and second-hand gloves that we can issue. Yeah. So.
That's great. Well, that brings our questions to a close.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to just add before we close this morning's event, Tony?
Yeah, it's an interesting opportunity if you want to learn how to work in the outdoors. If you're interested in farming or gamekeeping or conservation or anything like that, this will give you a taster. It also is 70% work-based, so going out and actually doing practical work. So if you don't like classroom work, bear in mind there will be some classroom work. If you prefer to work outdoors and prefer to work with your hands, it's very much orientated towards that. And what you should remember is at the end of the course, you should be fit to progress on to one of our full-time NC courses, so something like horticulture or gamekeeping.
So thank you very much for everybody who's got in touch with your questions. Thanks for joining us.